Hi and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to give you a quick video with setup tips so that you can get filming with your DSLR or mirrorless camera without having to watch lots of videos or read the whole manual for your camera. This is designed for people who are perhaps you're confident with photography or perhaps you've recently bought a DSLR or mirrorless camera and you want to start shooting video but you just don't know where to start with the settings. So I'm going to assume that your camera can turn to manual. If you're using a DSLR or a mirrorless camera, this isn't going to be a problem. If you're shooting using your mobile phone, that's fine too, but make sure that you use a camera app that allows you to shoot in manual. If you're on Android or iOS, check in your app stores and find a manual camera app that allows you to adjust the aperture, the ISO and the shutter speed individually so that you are in complete control of the exposure of your image. Each of these settings that I'm going to go through today could be a video of its own, and there's so much to say about each of these settings that I will do in future videos, but I just want to give you a quick start video so that you can get up and filming without going into too much detail and overwhelming you at this stage. So the first setting that you need to change is PAL or NTSC. Now these are settings that might seem a bit redundant now that we've moved to digital, and they refer to broadcast television, so they were very important settings maybe 15-20 years ago and before that, but since we moved to digital they're largely irrelevant. But they do still have an impact on filming because whether your PAL or NTSC controls which frame rates that you use, and frame rate is linked to the electricity grid and the way that electricity is delivered to your homes. So if you use the wrong setting, what you might find is that the lights start flickering when you're filming under artificial light. And this is really annoying whether you're filming a living room scene under your bulbs or you're filming outdoors with lights coming through shop windows or under street light. So this is why it's really important to make sure that you have your PAL or NTSC setting set correctly. If you're in Europe or the UK, then you want to choose PAL. If you're in North America, then you want to use NTSC. Some countries were SECAM as well, so just check for your individual country whether you are PAL or NTSC and set your camera appropriately. Whether you choose PAL or NTSC will also open up lots of different frame rate options for you. Now frame rate is important because frame rates can do different things. You've probably heard of high frame rate footage, and it's really good for slow motion or for action. For freezing action as it's going, for example, someone running or someone throwing a ball, or for slowing down a football match. But for everyday shooting you don't need high frame rate, and what high frame rate will do is create really heavy and big video files that you then have to manage on your computer. So it's much better to use a moderate frame rate. So if you're using PAL, then I would say stick to 25 frames per second as your frame rate, and if you're using NTSC, then you can choose 24 frames per second or 30 frames per second. Now 24 frames per second is the one that would be favoured if you're trying to go for a filmic look and make your film look like a movie that you might see at the cinema, because the slower frame rate, the less frames you have per second, the more motion blur you have, which just looks quite pretty and looks quite filmic. You can use 30 if you're filming yourself, doing something as a tutorial, or you just want a video, or you just want to talk to camera, then 30 frames per second is absolutely fine. But if you're going for the filmic look, then I would suggest 24 frames per second for NTSC. There are times when you will want to use a higher frame rate, when you will want to film at 50 frames per second or 60 frames per second so that you can slow down and get that lovely slow motion, or even so that you can keep it at the rate it was filmed, but that it will just look really smooth and you'll get lots of detail. And I will go into that into a future video. But for now, just stick to 24 or 30 if you're on NTSC and 25 if you're on PAL. So the next rule is linked to frame rate and PAL or NTSC, and that is your shutter speed. So if you're coming from photography, you might be used to adjusting your exposure by changing your aperture, ISO and shutter speed. In video and in film, shutter speed is called shutter angle, but you can call it shutter speed too. And there's a rule called the 180-degree shutter angle rule, which dictates what your shutter angle or shutter speed should be relative to your frame rate. So if you're shooting at 25 frames per second, then your shutter speed or shutter angle should be 1/50th of a second. If you're shooting at 30 frames per second, then your shutter speed or shutter angle should be 1/60th of a second. These are just ballpark rules, and there are lots of reasons why you should break them, and again I'll go into that in detail in another video. But for now, when you're just starting out, choose your frame rate, choose your shutter speed, and then just leave them. Don't adjust them too much whilst you're going, just leave them, and you can adjust your exposure by changing the aperture and changing the ISO, which is actually much easier if you're just getting started because it's one less thing to have to worry about. And if you're ever in a situation where it's really, really bright and you need to change your shutter speed to bring down the exposure so that you're not blowing out your highlights, you can use something called an ND filter. And again, I will go into that in another video, but it's just too much detail for right now. So the final setting that you need to adjust before you can start filming is your picture profile or picture style. When you are using a Canon camera, and Canon is what I started on, a Canon DSLR, you can go through your picture settings, picture styles, and you'll find things called natural or standard or portrait. And it's the same on Sony cameras, it's the same on Fuji cameras, they're called different things. I'm currently filming on a Sony camera and I'm using a different picture profile with this. If you're coming from photography, you might be used to editing raw photographs using Lightroom. With video, it's compressed, it's much more like JPEG. You can shoot RAW, but they're more advanced cameras, and if you're watching this video, my guess is that you're a beginner and you're using a consumer grade camera and you're not shooting RAW. You can edit compressed H.264 footage and you can manipulate the colours, but it's quite limited for what you can do before you blow out the colours or you push them too far. So some filmmakers will use what's called a flat profile, and I'll show you what a flat profile looks like by adjusting this footage right now. But for a beginner, what I would really recommend you do is choose a neutral profile, something called neutral or portrait, that gives you good colours, but they're quite muted, but they're not low contrast, they're not low saturation, because there's so many things that you need to learn, and messing around with colour grading when you're trying to sort out your composition and sort out your audio and sort out your storytelling. It's just one too many things to try and do at this stage, so keep it simple. Choose a modest colour profile that looks good, that's not going to require too much time in post, and then just call it done, and that will do you for now. And I will go through different colour profiles and colour grading in future videos, so don't worry, I'll get to that, but to start with, just choose a simple colour profile for your camera. One last thing is white balance. Now white balance is important because it dictates what colour the light is. So if you're filming under daylight, it's got a very different colour. That's the colour of white, to if you're filming under an artificial light. You can adjust your white balance from shot to shot, but if you're filming your everyday life or you're just picking up the camera here and there and you want to get a shot quickly, I would really recommend that you use auto white balance. I still use auto white balance for most of my work, especially for wedding videography, when I could be going from a dark church to outside and there just isn't time to change my white balance manually. Now if you're doing a narrative piece or you're doing a talk to camera piece, you can set your white balance individually per frame and make sure that it's perfect, but for most users I would really recommend just using auto white balance. So that's it for today. That gives you an overview of your quick settings so that you can get up and filming. So that's been quite technical and going into quite a lot of details today, but I hope it's given you the confidence just to get up and get started, to turn on your camera and to start filming. Thanks so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye!